We've given ourselves a fairly good base, but now I want to show you under the Auto Painting palette how you can have ultimate control in what brush strokes are being laid down. If we unselect the Smart Stroke Painting option, you'll see that the stroke parameters actually light up, so now we can use them and move them around. And if we look at the Pressure Modulate button, you can see that we now have presets that we can use. I like using the short stroke, a diagonal, and playing with a few of these. Even the sketchy circle is pretty cool. I'll show you close up. If I show it to you in color, maybe this will make a little bit more sense. Let's pick a bright color. And I'm going to click play. Now see how it's actually making a circular mark with that brush? That's essentially what we're going to be doing in clone mode, but I just wanted you to see the brush marks in color. So this is Sketchy Circle. The brush is literally going in a circular motion as it's automatically being applied to your canvas. We have the same thing, Sketchy Square, in a square mark. You can see that we're getting more of those boxy shapes. If I hit undo once, it clears that out. So we have plenty of presets, or we can start changing them and customizing them for what we'd like. We'll do one more, C curve. You can see it's just making a little bit of that C mark. I'm going to try this one. I like playing with a few of the different presets. We can apply and change randomness, which is how randomly it's applying in size and shape, how much pressure is being applied, all of these different little aspects. The brush size will come from what is set up in your brush automatically, so 43 is my brush setting right now. And if for some reason you want to see this done very slowly and just bring in your kids, have some popcorn and make it a movie, you can dial down your speed to a much slower rate. Right now I'm at 100%. I'm going to make sure my brush is in clone mode, so click that clone stamp icon. Your color wheel will gray out, which is telling you that you're pulling information from your image and not from colors. And I'm going to hit play. We'll just kind of let it do its thing. And you'll see it's automatically painting for us. Now we can stop this at any point by clicking the stop button. And we can even change brushes. So just to change it up a bit, I'm going to change brushes. I'm going to select my artist's Sargent brush and click play. Make sure that's in clone mode. And you can see that it's giving us a slightly different brush mark. Now this would be a great brush to try with your smart settings. I'm going to make the brush a little bit larger and hit play. So you can see we now have larger brush marks. I'll zoom in. This brush gives us kind of a nice funky palette knife look. Now I do want to note that your brush will automatically apply whatever settings are currently selected for it, but you can change any of those settings manually. I'm going to go back to my Impressionist brush and click play and let it fill in the canvas. And if it's not going fast enough for you, take your brush to a smaller size. And it will fill in pretty quickly. Now you will see that the smart settings typically apply faster brush marks. So if I go back to my Smart Stroke Painting and click play, see how much faster that is? And I'll let that fill in my painting. At any point you can change the brush that you're using, you can change the size, you can change how it applies pressure, and what stroke direction it goes in, all within this palette. I'll click stop. I'm going to do File, Save As, And I'm going to name this 1PTR Pink Flower. Now we can save it either as a Photoshop RIF or a PSD. If you save as a PSD, I would recommend selecting uncompressed. I'm going to save it as a native RIF format for now, which is what comes with Painter, and hit save. And I'm going to play with some other brushes just to give it a little bit of a varying texture throughout the image. If I come up to Smart Strokes, I'm going to select the Acrylics Dry Brush, give it a little bit more opacity up in this top field, and select Play. You can see that brush gives us a little bit different characteristics in the way that it lays down paint. It's slightly more realistic. It looks like you just have a basic, lightly oiled brush. It's not as scattered, not as impressionistic. So you can try different brushes. You just want to make sure that your color wheel is in clone mode, and this is set up per brush. So we can try, let's try Sponge Dense. This is a very different look. Play. You can see it's applying that sponge mark to her. Now I didn't care for that too much, so I'm going to undo. Edit, undo, and it goes back one step. We have Sponge Soft. This gives a little bit of a breakup to the texture. Let's play with one more brush. I'm going to try the Chalk Soft. Click play. And this one's getting a little too mushy for me, so I'm going to make it stop and go back to that Acrylics Dry Brush and click play. Now at any time you can stop and actually put in your own brush marks and fill in areas. I'm using right now a Wacom Intuos Pro Pen and Touch tablet, which is, I guess, technically the Wacom Intuos 6, and I'm using the medium tablet because I love the size and functionality of it. It allows me to have a lot of control over the pressure and the speed and the space that I'm putting down brush marks. The Pro tablet has over 2,000 levels of pressure sensitivity. If you want to try the entry-level tablet, that is just the Intuos tablet, which used to be called the Bamboo, and that's got over 1,000 levels of pressure sensitivity. So either way, you're going to get a lot of control. And it's also measuring the speed and the pressure from the time you touch down to the time that you lift up off of that tablet. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to kind of bring back a little bit more of that photograph using the auto painting palettes.